So I didn't write anything for level 3 because it was like, I didn't know where to.
Developing, qualifying,
It's a lot.
improving.
You gotta be able to read the book if you.
Yep. Yep. You
Level
gotta have
2
it.
plus 1.
All right.
You
so
are the ASMT.
So NAS 410 hours. NAS 410. I'll put training hours here. Training hours. All right. So how many hours do we need here? So let's see. We'll have level 1. We can do level 2. Level 2. We'll do class. Oops, so it is going to be just hours. Classroom and experience. So classroom and experience. All right, make a little chart here. All right, so you want to do PT. PT is what?
Liquid
Penetrant, liquid penetrant. For level 1, you need 16 hours. And for level 2, you need 32. That is total. So it's 16 plus another 16. See what I'm doing there? Because I don't want to make it confusing. It's a total of 32. Experience, you need 130 hours. And over here, you need 400 hours. Woo. All right, so you're going to, what counts as an hour of experience?
31.
I don't have an exact answer for you because this gets you have to almost go into the publication NAS 410 and really get into the nuances, because the heart of it is you're actually doing it. But I think there's a little bit of leadway in there, but for the most part you're actually doing it. So I don't know, somebody who's fast with math, 400 hours, how many weeks is that? 8 hours a day solid.
8 hours a day, huh?
Yeah.
7 weeks is a 40-hour. 7 weeks in a day.
Okay, about 7 weeks, so a couple solid months to get a level 2. And then that makes sense to me. All right, PT. What does MT stand for? Magnetic. Another 16 hours here. 130 hours. These are hours, by the way. 4 hours. Hour. 32 hours. Everything in hours.
50 hours.
It's going to be the same. 32 and 530 hours.
So specific.
So yeah, 16, 130, 32, and 400. Sorry. All right, ET is?
16.
What does ET stand for?
ET is the eddy current. Electromagnetic.
Eddy current. All right, so I did not do eddy current at my shop, so I qualified level 2 for PT and MT. All right, you know the old saying, I know just enough to be dangerous?
Yep.
I'm still about 8 hours away from that level, okay? So, yeah, check this out. For classroom level 1, where you are allowed to turn on the machine and use it, 40 hours.
Oh, wow.
You need 400 hours
Nice.
for level 1 just to do that. You want to try to do a level 2, you're going to need 80 hours of classroom, which is 2 solid weeks, 8 hours a day of classroom training, for a total of 1,600 hours of practical experience.
Woo.
These machines are no freaking joke. Just getting it set up to do the most basic of basic tests is like, how would you even know this? It is crazy. Ultrasound.
That's
UT
pretty much a
ultrasound.
whole apprenticeship program.
Yeah. Ultrasound is the same thing. 40, 400, 80, and 1,600.
That puts it wrong.
So if you thought you were just going to go out and get your level 1 or 2 in either one of those methods, first of all, you're going to have to pay to go to school, and you're going to have to go to school for 80 hours solid. Then you're going to have to go out in the field and get 1,600 hours of experience. So if somebody shows up and says they're a level 1, 2, or 3 in those 2 methods, props to them. All right, let's see, I think I'm backtracking a little bit. So employer certification. So, all right, you want to get your certification, level 1, 2, or 3. Level 1, 2, or 1 or 2, sorry, 1 or 2. What do you need? We've already kind of covered this, so.
Level 3.
You need a level 3 on
Well, I was thinking, what do you have to do? What are your tasks? What are your steps?
You need to have school for it.
Class training.
Okay, first you need classroom training. Then, once you've completed your classroom training, you need written tests. Pass a written test. Administered by employer. And that'd be a general and specific subjects. That's up to the employer. There are guidelines in SNT TC1A, I think in NAS 410, that would explain. There are some sample test questions. What you would do. Obviously, the classroom training is going to involve its own tests. I'm going to test you when I went to Hillier. You know, you've got to pass tests there. They are not easy. Like I said, there were some people who were really freaked out that they were going to be without a job, and some of them almost were because their tests were terrible. Written test. Okay, so you're going to do a written test by your employer. General, meaning general production methods, at least some surface knowledge on other methods so that they know that you know what methods to be using, you know, what is the appropriate method per crack, per material. Then you're going to do a practical exam. That's administered by employer. Who's the one who's going to be doing that actual?
the level 3.
Level 3, yep. Eye exam. Eye exam.
This is so hard.
He put his pen down. He's like, fuck it.
I got it right there.
Administered by employer.
I'm already screwed on that one.
Well, I've got good news for you. Oh, I don't have the issue. There's two things you need. One, the near vision chart. Near vision, and that is done with a Jagger chart. J-A-E-J-E-R chart. Jaeger chart.
Big Jagger chart.
I happen to have a Jaeger chart. You can wear glasses. It does not matter. So this is a Jaeger chart. You have to be able to read the J2 size, which with corrected lenses is fine. I don't even know. Yeah, I can't read without glasses anymore. I can't read the biggest one.
I'm nearsighted. So
Jaeger J2 near vision check. Following is J2 size. To determine whether vision meets J2 size requirements, hold this card a distance from the eyes of not less than 12 inches. Lighting for the near vision check should be the same as existing actual quality assurance inspections, which means how much light do I get?
2,000. Well, for
20?
visible light or
20
lumens.
kilowatts or 200 lux. Right?
Candles.
Oh, yeah.
If this printing can be read, vision is considered to be satisfactory for the J2 standard. I just read the J2. Don't damage my chart. Do I have Jagger near one vision? To administer, well, I got to use the Bible.
Basically, if you can read Kevin's writing up on the board, then you can probably do this.
All right, so we've got a, let me see, I think I've got a slide here.
Can you read it, Coop?
Yeah, no, it's not that bad.
Oh, I had this up here. Could have just put that.
Yeah, the first one is though, the J1. I can't even.
Oh, so wait.
So there's our hours, right?
Oh, wait, yeah.
So how do you get the experience hours to be a level 1?
You're going to work alongside a level 2 or
Okay.
another one getting that experience.
Okay.
So you're useless
You're a nub.
just watching.
You're a new useless guy.
All right, this is the Jaeger card, but I actually, it doesn't count here.
Yeah, glasses.
Whatever,
That's
so
a
you
fancy
have
Are
one
they-
there.
Yeah, you see the J2?
No.
Read it.
So you have to be able to read the J2, and you have to be able to pass the
Yeah.
Ishihara test for color
But you can use
deficiency.
J2.
It's if you're colorblind, done.
Which reminds me of a funny joke.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those before. You gotta read a number in or something like that.
It's all just green.
Jeez, it's work.
Can't be colorblind or something.
Why are you showing me pictures of my parents fight?
I should change it to that or something. I don't want to show me pictures of my parents fighting. 2, we got to have the color test, which is the Ishihara.
I'm so glad those
Ishihara
names are
test.
phonetic.
The Ishihara test. And this lasts for 5 years. So what do you have to do at the end of 5 years?
Retest.
Make it again.
Retest.
Yes.
If you just memorize the words of the
Eat a bunch of nickels.
They do. I want to say that this particular one, where was it? Oh, we got to go back one. Let's see, can we read? Yeah, see, look at, that doesn't have it, but this right here does. And it actually has some funny kind of writing here. I wish I would have really zoomed in on that. Thus, I went up Market Street as far as 4th Street, passing by the house of Mr. Reed, my future wife's father. She, standing at the door, saw. And so, I guess a lot of people do memorize it. So when you're talking to them, they're like, thus I went up Market Street, and you know. Like,
That's why I got my license.
They just let anybody drive, right?
all right, so Ishihara, what do you guys see? What number? Can you see it? My screen is really clear.
3.
All right.
Terrible shiny.
You all pass. All right.
Can we
we'll get
see
to that
the
later.
old angle?
Back to this. So we got last for 5 years. Let's see. Just for your fun, so Lycoming.
Oh.
Lycoming is one of 2 engine well, now it's 3 because Rotax is thrown there, but I always talk Lycoming or Continental. Lycoming service instruction 1285 Foxtrot is the one I looked up. And what does it say? Again, before, when I did it, you'd go to this Lycoming service instruction. I think it was 1285 back then, but probably Alpha. And it would just say, crankshafts and the following items shall be inspected in accordance with, crankshaft. And it would just literally had a chart. It would say circular and longitudinal. Pay attention to fillets, radiuses, and the flange. Wet continuous at 2,000 amps. All right, so it was you just did it, and there was not a problem. They removed all of that stuff. I don't have any of that documentation anymore. Now it says, and I don't think I made a copy of it, but I got you must be qualified and certified to a written procedure IAW. What does that mean?
In accordance with.
In accordance with NAS 410. You're not getting around it. Persons who make accept or reject decisions must be a level 2. Procedures must be approved by. Procedures must be approved by a level 3 in accordance with NAS 410. And last but not least,
Oh, man, I fucked up.
procedures and steps must comply with ASTM 1444. And let me just 144 for a magnetic particle, and ASTM E1417 for PT. So what is that? To unpack that right there, procedures must be approved by level 2 in accordance with NAS 410. So that means the level 3 who meets qualifications of NAS 410, because if we go back to this chart, this is for NAS 410. If I go back to ASNTC 1A, those hours are a little different. Please be right, please be right, please be right. Liquid Penetrant, training hours for a level 2 is 8 hours of classroom training, 140 in minimum hours in method or technique, 140.
Very nice.
So that's for level 2 for PT. How far off is it?
It's like
Just a little.
Half on the
Yeah,
classroom.
half. Magnetic particle, level 2, 12 hours classroom, 210 experience.
So, less classroom.
Half off.
So SNTC 1A, SNTC 1A,
And in the 2020 edition,
Yeah.
yeah,
You wanna
it's a
check
lot
to see
less.
if you can do this or
so
not?
3 years.
Gary J2.
No. This is the SNTTC 1A qualifications. What do we get qualified to for aerospace engineers?
NAS 410.
NAS 410. This chart is NAS 410 hours. Right? So, number 1, when we go to, should have been on this slide anyway. There we go. When we go back to this, now they're saying procedures must be approved by a level 3 who was certified to
NAS 410.
NAS 410. So they have to have their hours, we can look at it like that. You have to be NAS 410 certified. Oh, got it?
I
You have to
wonder
have the
what
higher level.
I wonder what the experience is required for level 3. Has to be
A decade.
10,000 hours, like master level.
As long as it's been alive.
Let's see.
No, bottom of Twix bar today.
It's just different.
Yeah, it's back. It's
You have
back.
to
He can
be
do whatever he wants.
level 2 qualified.
But with a degree. in
Like
that.
right here, okay, so National Aerospace Standards, minimum experience requirements for level 1, 2, it has a chart. Then it's table 2A, RT experience, which is different, to transition to film and non-film. Then it goes table 3, minimum experience requirements for level 3 in common methods. College or university. Let's see. Oh, college or university. If you have none, you must have 4 years level 2 experience. If you have 2 years of engineering or science study at technical school, college, university, you have level 2 experience is 2 years. So you have to meet level 2 and then either add 4 years, 2 year, or 1 year. 1 year if you have 3 to 4 years science or engineering undergrad degree.
2 years of this counts as
So 2
science,
years
right?
with an associate's, or
Yeah, because this program, if you do it, it's an associates in science.
yeah, stuff
Is it
in
really?
Gen Ed.
Yeah.
It's associates in science?
It's like a
STEM?
science.
That's
yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a technical or like
2
a-
years of
it's like a-
engineering or science study at a
That's-
technical school, college, or university.
Like
Yeah,
6 more
this would count.
classes. And it's
Well, that helps a little bit.
I know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You're done. Good. Associates.
I'm retired, bro.
Level 2.
Well, I
So they're not
mean,
looking
if
for
you
your
make a
degree.
career out of this, you're going to get there eventually, regardless.
Then there is minimum requirements for first level 3 in an emerging NDT method.
What
Still need to
emerging
be-
is that like?
If somebody comes up with some new quantum way to do NDT.
Requirements that only apply to other or emerging methods is defined as it cannot be applied to penetrant, magnetic particle, ultrasonic, radiography, thermography, shearography, or eddy current. The requirements is 6-4 and 6-41.
Anyone a level 2?
Oh,
That sounds like
It's just
so
a myth,
much.
like there's
You
no
better make dough.
legend of the. Someone look up a level 3
You
salary
better
right now.
put some dough. Like that's gotta be like
Look that up,
software,
Parker.
you know.
I'm on it.
NDT level 3 salary. It better start with the 5 followed by 5 more zeros.
That's
Just
a top
without
search
getting
thing.
into, because we're not doing level 3, but without really digesting this, then there's another chart which looks like
5 zeros.
It's shit.
you would really need to
32,
look at.
46 an hour.
No engineering or science studied at technical school, college, or university. At least one previous level 3 or level 2 certification held. 2 years of engineering or at least one previous. Nah, that's different. All right, anyway, I don't want to. I do remember when I was trying to do it. For some reason, I felt that this school didn't count. Maybe I just didn't think about that because my bachelor's is in business administration, but my master's is not. So, okay. So number 1, procedures must be approved by level 2, who is qualified by NAS 410, right?
Level 3?
Level 3, who is qualified via NAS 410.
Yes.
Number 2, the procedures and setup and how you do it must comply with, I don't think I have that in here because I leave those in the shop, ASTM publication E1444. What are you doing back there? I don't even know. You paying attention? Okay. Which I do keep several copies in the NDT lab, and ASTM E1417, which tells you how to do particle testing. So that's what you have to do if you're going to do it for Lycoming. So can anybody do it?
No.
Hell no. Yes.
You said you have to be qualified and certified, but can you be certified and not qualified?
I think one has to come before the other. It should be
If you did wrong.
No, you paid it all.
Hang on. He's got a good question. Can you be certified without being qualified?
Yeah.
That would be the same thing as you going to the FAA and saying, I've never worked on an airplane, I've never gone to school, but I want my certificate and I want it today, please. And they say, well, tell you what, if you can pass all the tests, the 3 writtens and the practical and the oral, then we'll let you. That would be being qualified, be certified without being qualified. So, no, you can't do that. But can you be qualified without being certified? Sure, I'm standing right in front of you. I'm qualified. I've got the experience, I've got the education. I just didn't get my
What cert do
certification.
you have?
What's that?
You don't have any certification?
You can't. Who certifies you?
Your employer.
Who certifies you?
The employer.
Employer. Does Los Rios Community College District have an NDT program with a level 3 on board? No, they do not. So the only option I would have is to get a central certification, which is applicable more to
The oil and
Oil and gas.
oil and gas, which is not my area of expertise. So what good would it do me? Zero. And if I did have a level 2 central certification, could I then NDT a Lycoming engine?
Yes.
If you got it approved by level 3?
If I had the procedures must be approved by level 3, so I'd have to go higher level 3, get the procedures.
And then-
Once I had them, I would have them, and I could do it, but there's a problem. What about the equipment? Has the equipment been calibrated?
Not yet.
Who's going to calibrate all that equipment? Who's going to pay for that?
The level 1. They get to
And all
calibrate
this
Pay
it.
for it.
All this has to be in
Expensive.
accordance
Yes.
with. Go ahead.
You're actually asking me, I was talking about salary.
Okay, can I move on? We good? Okay, just for fun, what does TCM say? Teledyne Continental Motors. Who I don't think is Teledyne Continental Motors anyway, but let me see. Let's see. I don't know why I chose to do this. For PT, I didn't write anything for MT. I don't know why. But they put in accordance with ASTM E1417, 1208, 1209, 1219. So I'm just going to put E1417 and others. Type 1. Type 1, method A, B, C, or D, and that is personnel certified to level 2 using procedures. Approved by level 3. Basically the same thing. You think you're just going to open up a little shop, buy some NDT materials, and go for it. You are not. Or you can, and you're going to be in trouble.
Damn. We had a master plan over here.
I know,
Me
master
and
plan.
Austin, we were like, we're gonna get a machine. We start charging people to do this.
Yeah, Kevin, if you
See,
had
as long as
you're
you
level
don't
3,
claim
you'd
that
be,
you
you'd
do it
find
in
a
an
level 3.
airworthy
Yeah,
condition.
you'd have to
Cut
do
them in
something
at
crazy.
90%.
Look, I do this because I want to. If I was doing something for money, I would be an actor or a professional sports
A model.
player or
A welder.
doctor
Or a televangelist.
Hey,
I think that's Johnny Sands.
I was gonna ask you, be real. You making more money here, or you making more money selling real estate?
Depends on the year. Sometimes it's way more that
Hey,
way. Sometimes it's
Cooper and I saw the Indeed or whatever the hell it was, the job listing.
Oh yeah, we saw.
$57 to $107
We saw the
an hour.
the assistant to replace Larry, that job. We saw it on Indeed, the Sacramento City College.
Yeah.
Like the posting.
Yeah. How much was it?
$57 to $107 an hour.
Yeah, it's a big range.
You might need to renegotiate your
You
prices.
guys are really getting off topic.
Before we get back on topic, Cooper, you can choose between $32.46 an hour in California for a level 3 technician. It goes between $23 to $57 an hour.
Did I make that scoop of ice cream? You think I'd be a level 3 doing that?
Level 3 ice creams, Cooper. Jelly donuts.
Can we get back to this now?
Yeah.
Indications. What is an indication? It is technically a response from an NDT method. Okay, we have some people, 8 of you exactly, who are in there doing NDT work.
Yes.
And let's just say we're using dye penetrant, which is, as I mentioned, for those who haven't, you put dye on a particular product. What do we have here? Here we go. These are 2 different things. This is a TAM panel over here, and this is just a weldment with a crack in it. So this one is fluorescent penetrant inspection. This one is visible. So looking at this one, it's easier to see for you probably. So penetrant was applied, washed off, dried, developed, and we have an indication. So that is an indication. Guess what else is an indication? That dot, that dot, that dot, this thumbprint, this dot. Okay, those are indications. So it's just, you've got a response. What is the, and you guys that are doing this stuff, what are these dots over here?
Irrelevant facts.
Just not drying properly.
You got
or-
drops
wash
on there.
it,
Somebody
yeah.
splashed on you. We've got red dye seeping out of this. That is probably a crack, but we have red dye over here in the stamping. What is that?
Stamping.
They just didn't wash it well. But it's an indication. Okay, so we get an indication. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do an interpretation. Which you're doing this really automatically. You get an indication, the next thing you do is, what is it?
Interpreting.
I see it, what is it? Determining whether or not an indication is relevant or non-relevant. So going back to this, we can look at this and say, well, I've got an indication. Can you see that okay? I have an indication here, I have an indication here, here, and here, and up here, everything but these 2 stars. What this this panel is, they're TAM panels. They're godly expensive. Expensive. They put a chrome plating on it, and then they punch it, and it creates a crack. Sorry, there. That's what they are in full size. And so they put a punch mark on it, and then it creates this crack. And then you get a photograph of what it looks like, and that photograph matches the reference panel to make sure that you're developing out like you're supposed to. So anyway, looking at this, is this, now we have to look at, interpret, is it relevant or non-relevant? So that is non-relevant. Somebody dropped penetrant or a water drop on it when it went in the dryer. Non-relevant, 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 non-relevant. All of this, it looks like edge cracks. Non-relevant. It's a bad wash job. It just wasn't washed on the top and it fell over. This is
Relevant.
probably relevant. Okay, so
Didn't do a good job developing.
all right. So we can have a false indication. Indication that is interpreted to be caused by a condition other than a discontinuity. So, an indication that is interpreted to be caused by a condition other than a discontinuity.
So in this case, it would be like a false positive.
False positive. For liquid penetrant, which we'll get into the procedure, it'll make more sense. It's a bad wash job. It is contamination from a project nearby where your fellow student dripped their project onto yours. In magnetic particle, it could be too much magnetization near a corner, which is causing a flux leakage to line up. It could be a fingerprint, it could be a scratch, something like that. So false indication. I used the word just a minute ago, so discontinuity. D-A-S-C-O-N-T-I-N-U-I. Discontinuity. That means, well, a lack of continuity. A lack of continuity means continuous. So a lack of continuity. An interpretation, or sorry, an interruption, in the physical properties of the part. In simple terms, a crack, or then we can get into, oh, there's all these things. There's about 20 different words for discontinuities. Pipe, a flow, what else do you have? Oh man, there's so many of them. I can't even think. Not forgetting them all.
Delamination?
Delamination would be one. That's what I'm thinking of. An inclusion. There's all these different things. So basically what I'm saying is during the manufacturing process, the liquid of the part, the molten metal didn't flow like it was supposed to. So you have either a void somewhere within it, or it's been in service and it was cracked or something like that. So that would be the discontinuity. But not all cracks or discontinuities are bad. So you're going to look at it and you say, well, I've got an indication. Then you're going to interpret it. Well, is it relevant or non-relevant? Nah, it's just my fingerprint. All right, so it's not relevant. It's just it's non-relevant because it's just my fingerprint, false indication. Or you look at it, ooh, no, that's definitely something's there. That's definitely discontinuity, and we can look at it from there. Well, is it non-relevant? Meaning, yeah, that's a problem. It's a discontinuity. It's a crack. It's a check. It's a inclusion. It's some sort of property. But I'm allowed to have a crack that's that big. and it's only that, it's, you know, I'm allowed to have this and this big, and it's only that big. So it's an acceptable problem. So non-relevant indication. An indication that is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity that is non-rejectable. An indication that is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity that is non-rejectable. Such as a lap seam.
Lap seam?
Yep, when you're folding metal around pipes and such, you get a lap in there.
Oh,
Or I
yeah.
think even when you're making metal, forming metal, you have a lap. So I told you there's all these words and like, oh my God, you have to remember all these things. Can't I just say it's bad? It's just cracked. Then you have relevant. A relevant indication. An indication is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity that requires evaluation. So, indication that is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity that requires evaluation. So I've decided that it definitely doesn't qualify as non-relevant. We were working on a crankshaft earlier for Larry. It appears that somebody dropped it. Unfortunately, we checked it here, sent it off or something, and then they rejected it and it came back and said, oh, it's cracked right here. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that was there when we sent it out, because that was pretty noticeable on the flange, and it was dropped for sure. And so we look at it and we decide that, well, number one, is it relevant? Was it relevant?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some nasty cracks and it was relevant. It was not a false indication. It was a real problem. It is a discontinuity. Now, it becomes, is it a relevant or non-relevant? Well, it is relevant. Why? Because you're not allowed to have cracks there.
And it was
Maybe you could, and if you could, then it'd be non-relevant. But it's relevant because you can't have cracks there. So we have that relevant, and now we have to evaluate it further. Is that a rejectable flaw or not a rejectable flaw? And you're not allowed to have cracks in these things, so I would say that's a flaw. Not flow, flaw, F-L-A-W. An imperfection or discontinuity that may be detectable by NDT, but is not necessarily rejectable. So did we have a flaw in that one?
Yeah.
I would say yes until I add this one in there, a defect. It's like you people, including me. Every one of us is flawed. But how many of us are defects? None of us.
We're getting close to that time, the island of defect
Hey,
boys.
we're getting close to that time when I'm looking for some Christmas presents, so I don't want Santa. I don't even know. A flaw whose size, shape, or other properties do not meet acceptance criteria. All right, so run through this again. Indication, that's a response. Then we have to interpret it, whether or not the indication is relevant or non-relevant. False indication, an indication that is interpreted to be caused by a condition other than a discontinuity. So that would be your fingerprint, something like that. Discontinuity is definitely, well, that's just a definition. It's a break in the part. A non-relevant, do I have relevant in here? It's not relevant. Yeah, I do. So whether or not his indication is relevant or non-relevant, down here. Relevant, indication that is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity that requires evaluation. Relevant, oh, it's some sort of crack or something. It's not just my fingerprint. Non-relevant, indication that is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity is non-rejectable. It's supposed to be there. That's normal. Oh, I get this a lot with magnetic particle keyways, where you have a keyway. Do you guys know what a keyway
Yeah,
is?
for a
It's like,
Woodruff key.
Yeah, for Woodruff key, like a round
okay.
part, something like that.
Like on the mag rotor.
Yeah, something like that. You will definitely get an indication down here. Depending on how the part is made, if it's hollow right here, you're going to get an indication right in here from the magnetic flux leakage there. So I definitely have an indication, but it's relevant. I mean, it's there. The indication that is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity. It requires no, it's not non-relevant. Indication that is caused by a condition or type of discontinuity that is non-rejectable. That would be non-rejectable. It's supposed to be there. So what's going to happen? All right, then we can determine that maybe there is, with this particular thing, we get some sort of little indication because there's a crack right there. So we get an indication that is a
Relevant.
it's relevant, and it is a it's definitely something's wrong with it. It may be detectable, but it's not necessarily rejectable. But then we just say, we look at the book, it says you can't have any cracks there. That makes it a defect. Okay. All right, that sets us up nicely for liquid penetrant inspection. And because liquid penetrant inspections usually don't have fluorescent particles, I think we'll use a very bright green pen for the rest of the night. Throwing stuff at me. All right. Should we be done for tonight?
Start the next subject tomorrow. That way it's more.
Test tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By any chance, do you know what level Phil has? Because I think he was talking about.